Coming to you live from my wife's childhood bedroom, it's Rob Has a Podcast, and now here's the guy who's a ray of hope, ray of sunshine, a guy who goes to Ray's Pizza. I am Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our live recap here on Wednesday night, September 11th, as we are 2 weeks away from the Big Brother finale. We got a lot to talk about here tonight on our recap. Sorry about the delay for everybody who's watching live, but if you only knew what I had to work with here on the road to make this show happen, you would understand this mad scientist situation that we have going on here. Of course, very excited to be joined here tonight by an esteemed member of the LFC. Please welcome the great Melissa Deni. Melissa, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited to talk about one of my favorite veto competitions, BB Comics. I'm very happy that they kind of did a back to basics thing and copied the same competition from Big Brother 16 when they first did BB Comics.
A throwback.
A throwback
for the BB Comics, a classic edition, and a throwback to a podcast I remember listening to fondly on my way back from Mini Renapolis when it was Puya and Melissa were on together many Wednesdays ago. Here he is back on the podcast, this time with me. Here is the great Puya. Puya, how are you?
I'm doing good, Rob. I'm happy to be here. Taran might not listen to this because he's in New York, but upgrade. I just got an upgrade here. No shade, Taran. Just kidding. Very excited to be here and very excited to talk BB Comics with you guys.
Okay, well, very excited. Fun veto competition, and we will talk through the looming. Not since LeBron James, Puya, has there been such a highly anticipated decision of what will happen on Thursday night. We'll find out live when we are doing our show from the SVA Theater here in New York City. I'm out on Strong Island right now, much like Nicole, and looking forward to our big live show on Thursday night, but a lot to talk through. You can use hashtag RHAP. Scott St. Pierre is standing by to get us those questions later on in the show. Melissa, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. This was a great episode. A very, very exciting veto result. I was so excited when I saw the news that Nicole had won veto. It's honestly like all day long she had been saying, I have to win this. I need to do this for myself and for Cliff. And then she would literally promise to like Cliff's family that she was going to win this. She's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to win it. And most of the time when people say that on the show, you're like, okay, all right, sure you are. Like, that's probably not going to happen. But she did it. I mean, that was insane. She did such a great job. She smoked them. I mean, she got such a better time. It was very impressive.
Puya, it's been an impressive run here for Nicole, and I don't know if I have the Big Brother player sort of that at my fingertips that I could say is the parallel for this run that Nicole is on.
The only person I can think of who's had a quick change in both capability to take it all at the end and also turn on the comp wins after having nada is Paris from BB Can 6. That is the only person I can off the top of my head compare her to. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing, not even 1 week, 6 days for Nicole. Where she was going into that double and where she is now, we're seeing her in a whole new light and we're talking about her in a whole new light. And, you know, as a Nicole fan, as someone who has felt endeared towards Nicole and has been a fan of Nicole, pretty nice to see. I will take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Melissa, it's been such an impressive run where I got to say she's the odds-on favorite to win, right?
Which is crazy. I mean, honestly, think about just like the round table from last week where we were basically saying like, she's got to win something or else she's never going to win this. There's no way, because the main argument going into the end was, well, Nicole hasn't done anything.
Yep. It was 5 days ago.
Right, exactly. That's the thing, is everything is different now. I feel like everyone's like, yeah, Nicole's the winner. She's coming into the stretch. Like, Melissa, good job on your draft. Whereas like a couple weeks ago, everyone was like, Melissa, your draft sucks. So, you know, I hope Nicole pulls it out because she is the only remaining person in my draft. But, you know, it's been such an impressive turnaround, really.
Yes.
I'm so happy.
And Melissa, I do have to commend you on your draft. Incredible job to land Nicole in the
Yes,
draft.
thank you. It was all me. I purposely, I knew she was going to be the last one. I knew that I was going to get her. It was all me.
Yeah, just to reset that was that there were 2 people left on the board, Jess and Nicole. I had the 15th pick. Whoever I didn't pick was going to go to Melissa. And I said, boy, Jess or Nicole? Boy, Nicole locked her parents in the basement. I'd like to root for her, but Jess seems like a more normal person than Nicole. I can't see it. Good luck with Nicole, Melissa.
I know, and I was like, no. I like the video of it, a little video clip of it has been kind of circulating around on Twitter today. And it's so embarrassing because I'm like, I didn't pick her. I don't want her. And now I'm like, go Nicole, you've got this. You're my one chance.
It doesn't matter. It's a victory nonetheless if it ends up coming in for Nicole. Okay, but we'll talk through all the scenarios for the end game in a little bit. But let's just talk through what was going on in the episode. And Puya, we started with everything going on with Tommy. He was feeling sorry for himself, and he ends up saying that, okay, I am going to end up coming clean to Macbeth, to Jackson and Holly, and he ends up telling the backstory of him and Christie, that they knew each other.
Yeah, so I love the way they set this up on the show because I feel like it was pretty much the exact same thing we were seeing on the feeds on Saturday. And it's one of those situations where they're just talking so much smack about Christie to his face. And he's just sitting there and taking it. And then it just got to one like, all right, I just need to get defensive now and just kind of also blame Christie by association. Just be like, hey, I knew her coming in. I had to play the cards I was dealt. It's not my fault. She kind of lost herself. Like, this is why this happened. And I loved it. It reminds me of a situation on a movie where, you know, there's a group of people and they're talking a lot of smack about this one other person. And the other person comes out and says, well, I've been dating them secretly for 3 months. So what do you have to say about that now? Like,
yeah.
Was she so nice?
Well, it's like, if you think what you guys had to say is bad, you should hear what my aunt had to say about her. Because I'm sure my aunt she would even go after her worse. She would drag her. So, yeah, I'm sure the aunt has some breakup stories. I mean, you never want to go too hard into with the breakup stories because you don't know if the breakup is going to take. But here in this instance, I don't know if Tommy and Christie are going to get back together after the season is over, Melissa.
Yeah, and I mean, the way that this was put on the show did not make Holly look great. It made her look pretty bad and pretty mean. And she's like, I mean, I sound like the mean girl right now. And like, no one says anything. Like, no one says, no, you're not the mean girl. Like, it was just like, Tommy's kind of like, yeah, it's okay. I understand. But it just did not look good for Holly. I feel like today's edit wasn't great for her. I mean, this whole time she was kind of able to remove herself from this like bullying mentality or whatever, like this mean girl mentality. And because she was always able to say like, well, I didn't have any part of it. And that wasn't what was in my heart. And it like, I just felt like I had to go along with it for the game. But Christie's out of the house. This isn't for game at all. It's just like to smack talk somebody.
Melissa, this is a great point about Holly, and I really feel like that, you know, we've all been going back and forth of what's going to be the best move for Nicole and for Cliff going into Thursday. And I have to say, I think I feel more adamant than ever, especially when we're talking about Tommy versus Holly. Holly has started to become so unimpressive, Puya. I almost feel like I don't even see a scenario where Holly can win. Why would Cliff and Nicole want to get rid of her?
Yeah, it's, you know, in talking the parallel to Nicole going from probably not winning anything to now being the front runner is that Holly coming into the week was kind of everyone's like chalk. Okay, if she makes it there, she's got everyone beat. She might have to work a little bit against Jackson, but she's got this going. Why are they being picked off right now? Why is Holly being looked at right now? It just comes down to the fact that Holly and Mickey or Jackson, as we call him,
Yeah.
are a pair. They
Dr.
are
Jackson
and
Mickey Hyde. Yeah.
That was so great, by the way. Like, so clever. It
we'll
makes
do
me mad
comics.
that I didn't think of it.
Yeah, we'll do all the comics in a little bit.
Yeah, so it just basically comes down to the fact that they got rid of a pair. It was a three-way standoff of three pairs, and now this is another pair, and now there's an opportunity in front of them to maybe take that one down. We've all talked about at length how impressive Jackson's run has been since the blow-up of 44. And here we are now, and he could run it to the end. And this is something they see as handicapping Jackson. It boils down to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you weighed in, Puya, on what you think Cliff and Nicole should do?
No, because I got on the update the day before all this went down. So my viewpoint from the get-go was it's a 2 out of 4 with the pair of Nicole and Cliff. And then you've got a singular Tommy, a singular Mickey. If you're to get, why do I keep saying Mickey out of nowhere? Jackson. Whatever.
You've been incepted.
Yeah, it's happened finally.
You had a watermelon seed planted in your head.
Oof. Yeah, I wish it was seedless. Those are better. However, yeah. So if you take Holly out here, these two see each other as the biggest threat to win at the end. They fully believe it. At least that's how I'm taking it. So my belief was coming down. If they get to the final four, these two are going to go after each other. They're going to want to target each other, even though Cliff and Nicole are sitting there as a pair. Why? Because even if we've just seen Nicole win 2 competitions out of the last 4 in the last 6 days, that's impressive. We've seen Cliff come out of nowhere and win competitions when no one thought it was possible. He's had his moments, but Jackson's run is unparalleled. His competition wins have been ridiculously insane. Outside of Otev, he's pretty much won everything that he's been in. Really good. On the flip side, Tommy has not been a slouch in these comps. He's come in second in a lot of them. Even this one right now with BB Comics. So they go, even if they win, they have to look at taking each other out. So that's where I stand, is Holly going out is better. And I'm not going to lie, I wasn't 100% in because, as everyone has said, this is one of those moments where there's no winning pick. Either works. I think as the days have gone on here and just the game we've seen, just the conversations we've seen, it's getting more and more clear that Holly going is the move here.
Okay. Melissa, I'm much more in the Tommy should go camp because I think that Tommy, I can see him winning competitions here down the stretch. And tell me if this is crazy. Could you see Tommy winning the final 3 HOH and potentially taking Jackson to the final 2? Is that crazy to imagine that?
I think that it's possible. However, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't think it's crazy, but I think that the odds are he wouldn't, because first of all, if he does that, I mean, he already knows that Holly would be a vote for Jackson. So that automatically
Holly and Kat probably
his Christie vote.
Automatic Jackson votes.
And then that would cancel out his Christie vote, because his Christie vote is like the one, like, yes, Christie's going to vote for me. So then, like, that renders the Christie vote kind of moot. And then, you know, I just think that I don't think he would take Jackson, just because I think that Jackson automatically has some votes associated with him. Whereas Nicole and Cliff, it's like, it's up in the air. We don't know who's going to vote for Nicole and Cliff. Tommy has the argument, first of all, against Nicole and Cliff, that, like, I've been working this whole time. I was in all these alliances, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm the last man standing from the alliance. Nicole and Cliff didn't do anything the whole game. Yeah, sure. They, like, you know, they're here, you know, they could say that. Obviously I disagree. And I think Nicole and Cliff have been doing a lot, but I think that is an argument to be made. Whereas if he tried to make that same argument against Mickey, it's like, well, no, Mickey was like the odd man out. People wanted him out, and he still won competition after competition after competition in order to ensure his safety. So he's been doing a lot in this game. So I just feel like he has better arguments against Cliff and Nicole. And I think Tommy sees that.
Yeah, I don't think that there's anything that Holly can win that Nicole can't at this point.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That honestly, the one thing that kind of makes this a contentious thing is the fact that Holly's track record with comps is not great. She won a perfect shot, which, quite frankly, you know, the bounce went her way. A little bit higher, that's out off the board. It's a 0. But the one impressive one was the endurance, the poison ivy one that she got under her belt. But
Mhm.
I think the way they're looking at it is, let me just get to the end,
Right.
and then figure it out. Because
Mhm.
it is true, getting rid of Holly makes the final 4 stage hard for them, but at the same time, it makes it that they're guaranteed to fight for that final 3 to get to the final 2,
Yeah.
even if
Yeah.
it's impossible.
But
Yeah,
Tommy could win out. Tommy is going to be in the final 2 potentially if they don't get him out here.
Potentially, but however, I do think that they automatically are assuming that Jackson will win out if Jackson stays. So I think it's one of those things where it's like, okay, do we take a chance and maybe have Tommy win out, or like have Jackson for sure win out? Because I think if Jackson stays in the game, I think from their perspective, it's like he wins everything. There's no way we're gonna beat him. Whereas like if Tommy's still in the game, maybe Tommy could beat Jackson. Like maybe we could beat Tommy. Who knows? And I think that that's what's in their mind is like, if Holly stays in the game, she's an automatic vote for Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Like for sure, like to keep Jackson around. Like that's already a given, is that the two of them are going to vote for each other. The two of them are going to take each other.
But that only matters if she wins a veto, right?
With Tommy though, it's unknown. It's unknown what he's going to do. It's unknown what's happening here. Like, and Tommy is making clear to them, he's making promises to them that he's going to get out Jackson, that he's going to like throw the HOH. Like he's making a lot of good arguments here, whereas Holly's not saying any of that stuff. Right. Holly's not telling them, she's not promising them anything. Right. She's just saying, like, look, we're good to final 4, but that's not meaning anything. They want to be good final 3, but Holly can't guarantee that because she wants to keep Jackson. So it's like Tommy's saying the right things. Holly's not saying anything. And it's really, I mean, and also the other thing is like, it's not even like, Holly, you got to say the right things, because if she were to tell Cliff and Nicole, like, I'm going to take you guys to the final 3, I want to cut Jackson, who's going to believe that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So she's kind of not in a good position.
Puya, I have no doubt that Tommy is running circles around Holly in terms of campaigning, but he's lying, right?
Honestly, I don't know. I think he's saying whatever he can to stay, right? I think that's definitely in the cards because I don't think the DR Senate were alive from him. I think he genuinely thought, if I don't win this veto, my time is done. So now that there's even an inkling of a chance, he's playing with house money. He's going to throw whatever he can that sticks to make it past this eviction tomorrow night and then power through and make a run at the end. Do I think he's going to throw comps? I don't really buy that. But also, like, he'd be dumb to at that point, because honestly, now we're at the stage of the game where you can win out to the final 2. You can sit there and make a plea if you just win as many as you can and try and make the path there. But at the same time, do I think his intentions are to get rid of Jackson? Yes, I do think still that is the move for him. And I think he knows that, yeah, I could win out. Jackson's the hardest one to beat for me. So I'm not gonna contest that, even though Nicole is making a pretty good case of herself that, hey, I can face you and I can beat you. I just did it with DB Comics.
Yeah, I think for Nicole, I don't think it's as big of a deal, because I think that Nicole probably feels like, okay, even if Tommy gets to the end, I'll be in the final 2 with him, and I think I can beat him in the end. But if Tommy stays, I almost see no chance, Melissa, that the final 2 is Cliff and Nicole.
I mean, I think there's a chance, but I think either way, it's going to be really hard for them. I think that, it really could go either way. And I think that is why we're all having such a hard time with this decision right here, when normally
I'm not.
it's cut and dry.
I think it's cut and dry. I think that
but
they
also,
should
like,
definitely get rid of Holly.
Also, I think you have to take into account, like, even if they get into the final 2, like, another argument to think about is like, this is the big move. This is the, the argument that you can hang your hat on and be like, look what I did. Especially for Nicole, at least. I mean, Cliff, he can say the same about like breaking up a showmance, whatever. But Nicole broke up both Tommy and Christie, and then she breaks up, Mickey and Holly. And it's like, those are the big moves. Those are the flashy big moves. And honestly, if I'm Nicole and I'm struggling with this decision and I'm thinking, I go, okay, what do I do? What do I do? Like, I don't know which one gives me a better chance at the end. I'm going to do the big move, and I'm going to go for being remembered, because at least you're remembered then. And I feel like, yeah, maybe you don't win, but at least you're remembered, rather than like, yeah, you don't win, but you also like chose to not make the big move.
Now, Puya, I don't want to get into the live feeds yet in terms of how much do Jackson and Holly know, but also that a point that I feel like we haven't talked about too much is that at the point that Cliff and Nicole break their Final Four deal, aren't they also potentially losing both Jackson and Holly as jury votes at this point? Isn't this going to be a major betrayal that Jackson is not going to be able to forgive?
That's certainly possible, but then you got to think about who else are their options, right? So it's either Cliff, Nicole, or Tommy. Tommy, who took them to task when there was this whole thing going on about, oh, they know each other. And Tommy kind of ran with that a little bit and silently didn't say anything. Now they know that Tommy has a person. Mm-hmm. Now this is not great. They're not happy about this. Tommy stood idly by and let people just target these two all the way until they get here. Even though they were all playing nice with each other, I think they all kind of know what they were doing. So all of that being considered, Tommy being the only other person, they can still salvage the vote. They really can still salvage the vote. I do think that no matter how it plays out here, Jackson has this respect for Cliff, and Cliff has this respect for Jackson. They've kind of been working together in some way, shape, or form from as early back as Camp Comeback. They've kind of had a connection going on that I think will still carry over to the final two. As far as Nicole goes, Nicole and Jackson have probably the nicest relationship that Jackson has in the house is his friendship with Nicole. They're very, very fun together. They mess with each other. They fight. The whole pie thing was highlighted with this relationship. So I do think that come finale night, Jackson's not going to have that kind of salty bone in his body. Pun not intended.
Yeah, but she didn't vote out his girlfriend yet.
I think it's also the arguments that are made. Like, I think it's like also the way it's portrayed is like, if they portray it as like, I'm so sorry, you guys were unbeatable. Like, you guys were the power couple. You guys were amazing, like best competitors. I knew that there was no way I could beat you guys in the end, like play up to their ego. I think if they pose it like that, rather than like, haha, got you out or something like that, or just like, oh yeah, sorry, I did that. Then like, I think there's a chance that they would be like, you know what? We are the best. We are the power couple. You wouldn't have beat us. And I'm glad you recognize that. So now I'll give you a vote. Like, I just feel like there's the possibility that feeding to their ego might help.
Okay. Either way, we've got a very exciting Final Five eviction vote coming up on Thursday night. So that a lot to look forward to 24 hours from now. All right, we got our BB Comics tonight, and it's always an exciting night when we get to find out what everybody's comic book characters were. And you want to run through them real quick?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's just go in the order that I wrote them down. Tommy Puya. Let's come up with some sort of a metric of thumbs up or thumbs down. Do we have anything Big Brother 21 related?
Ooh. Let's see. Let me go to the SFW folder in my head.
Okay. You want to say
Ovi and Jack. Done.
Okay. All right. Ovi or Jack?
On a scale to Ovi or Jack.
On a scale of Ovi to Jack. Tommy is the flash mobster.
Closer to Ovi for me.
Ovi, I think. Yeah. I liked it.
I just felt like this was such an obscure thing. I mean, Tommy's been on the show the whole season. That he made a flash mob. That's what we're gonna hang our hat on with Tommy.
I also took it as that he was like flashy, but I don't know.
This one was kind of Jack for me.
Yeah.
You know what else I did like that they did this year that I don't think they've done before, or at least not that I remember, is in the DR when they like turn them into their characters.
Yes, that was cool. That was good. Yeah. That was good.
Like
so Big Brother animators working overtime. Okay.
Working overtime.
Next up, we got Sam is the big rig. Send it.
I feel like that's like, I mean, kind of to be expected. I wish it was a little more creative.
It was on the nose, Puya, but I thought that they nailed it.
Yeah, no, I think this was pretty much head on good. And as far as like being like not the best, they could have been more creative. I think there were worse ones, so this would be closer to an Ovi for me as well.
Okay. Next up, Kemi is the Keminator.
I thought they were going to do something with shaker bottles. I feel like they could have been a little more creative with Kemi's, but I liked it still, I guess. I mean, I just feel like I love all the BB comics, but I feel like it could have been a little more creative.
Yeah. Puya, what do you think of the Keminator?
I think that it puts Kemi in a positive light, and
Yeah.
I approve of that message. So it gets an OV
True.
for me.
Yes. Okay. And
I'm
Kemi
glad
likes
they
it.
didn't do her as like any sort of villain or anything crazy.
Why
Like
would
I'm
she be a
glad that-
villain?
because people are crazy. They don't understand her.
But not the Big Brother comics designers.
Yeah, I don't know. We love Kemi,
Yeah.
but who knows?
Okay. All right. Excited to see Kemi tomorrow at the Big Brother live show. We'll hear her reaction to the Keminator. Okay. Holly was Pinot Noir, Puya.
I liked it.
That was
Okay.
great. I thought that was one of the better ones.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
had
that
a
was really
concept.
clever. I like didn't even think about that. I thought she was going to be like some sort of like wine safari kind of person.
Mhm.
I don't know. Or a sommelier or whatever. I didn't, but I really loved the Pinot Noir.
Okay.
Yeah, and to find out that to hear that she didn't like it, I don't know what I was expecting it to be, but this was great. So I don't know what you're complaining about, Holly. There are worse things there, and we're gonna get to them.
Yeah. For the record, I know somebody who did like it, and that was Jackson.
Hollies. Sheesh. Now I'm distracted. So thank you, Big Brother.
Puya, did they put a sound effect onto the end of Jackson's quote there in the diary room?
Yeah, and it wasn't a spring, so I don't know what they're trying to go for here. I didn't quite get what the sound effect ended up being, but yeah, that was the thing that happened. He bit his fist, as a thirsty man does.
Like, oh my
So
god.
yeah, all the signs leading towards Jackson just being way too into this comic.
Yeah,
Ugh.
he's gonna request put that poster in his bedroom.
Yeah, he's
Like,
gonna have it
forever.
next to
Mom
Jessica
allows it.
Rabbit, just
Yeah.
side by side.
Okay.
Oh god.
Now, Melissa, what was going on? Holly doesn't like being Pinot Noir.
Did she not? I thought she liked it. Did I miss
Wait,
something?
I just remember her being whiny about it on the feeds. Just not
Whiny.
being
Yeah.
There you go. I didn't even. So I'm so good like that. Yeah.
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 Okay. After Holly, then we have a hold on, my notes close. Nick with the Elastinick. What is that? What is Elastinick?
I have no idea. What does
Because-
that have to do with him?
Yeah, because I have on good authority that they don't call him Elastinick for too long.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
yeah.
this does, it's twofold, right? So the first thing is we get his bowl cut haircut. We should never forget that's how we came into this house.
Right.
Second thing is you are sullying the name of Elastigirl, a beloved character of the Incredible. So shame on you. The only thing I can think of, Rob and Melissa, for this one is that it's to do with his hands, and he was handsy. But we never got this on the show proper, and I don't know
So he could like reach across the room and like with his foot or something like that.
Yeah, it's like if it exists, he'll reach out for it. Like I don't know what else it could be.
Yeah.
So I racked my brain for a good like 20, and I just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
I would say this one's a womp womp.
Jack,
It's a
real
big old
Jack.
Jack.
Okay.
Real Jack.
Nicole Lassis. She's from Strong Island. Melissa, what do you think?
I think that's a Jack.
Yeah. I don't
There's
know.
way more. I mean, like the whole unicorn thing, they played that up literally like the last episode. It's like, couldn't they have just done something about her riding a unicorn or something, or being a unicorn? Like, come on.
Yeah. Puya, I forgot to pull the clip from the other night, but when she got the box of Lucky Charms and she was like, oh my God, look at this box of Lucky Charms. There's all these unicorns on there. How many years have I been in this house for?
3 heads. Yeah. We got the
This new
commercial
box
tonight.
has 3 unicorns on it. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a bit of a Jack for the name itself. I do think a Unicole or like
Yeah.
some
Yeah, like what
She
does it
liked
even
it.
have to do with her though? Like
Pegasus.
Nicholas is just because, like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't.
Yeah.
Strong Island.
They were reaching. Okay. Cat was Conspiro. What do you think of that, Melissa?
You know, I liked it, but the comic itself was like a little excessive. Like it was a little busty. It was
Oh,
like she
you
was
think yes? Okay.
popping out of there. I
You
was
think
just like,
that
whoa.
Cat. They exploited Cat with her cartoon depiction.
You know, I mean, who's to say? But it was very distracting to me. But
See, I didn't even notice.
They got to get Brent
Yeah,
from
sure.
Canada to do on the payroll to make sure that
Yes.
it's done
That's
proper.
what, like when we did the Rumble, we said, okay,
Exactly.
keep it tasteful.
Yeah,
Okay?
I feel like this was,
Yeah, I did like that they had Bigfoot and the Yeti and all the different conspiracy creatures. I thought that they did a good job with that one. Okay, then after that, let's talk about Dr. Jackson and Mickey Hyde. That was your favorite one, Melissa.
That was amazing. That was so great. I mean, I felt like it worked on more than one level, which was like, I mean, it worked on like 3 separate levels. I mean, the name, it fits perfectly. Like Dr. Jekyll, like Dr. Jackson, Mr. Hyde, Mickey Hyde. I mean, come on, that's great. Second of all, he was the alien doctor. So he's got like the doctor gear, whatever. Third of all, I mean, that is like his personality in general. Like he is one way, Mr. Super nice guy, like, very suave and sweet. And then the next minute he's like this crazy person who's super, super mean to Holly and like is like the abusive ex-boyfriend. You know what I mean? It's like this guy he really is like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And so it was a spot on comic. I loved it.
Puya, I like that Jackson, when he saw his comic, he was like, well, one thing's for sure. I know I'll never be a doctor. I was like, yeah, we got that.
Yeah,
that's
the
not
straw
the
that
question.
broke the camel's back. He's like, oh, the memories. I can never do this now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought they were going to do something with watermelon, and I was like, okay, like we get it. He likes watermelon. It's not super creative, but this was, I was very happy with it.
Yeah. Okay. Then let's look at Jess Model Mayhem, Puya.
Yeah, they really phoned that one in. That one was one of the bigger phone-ins of the night.
It's like, what does she do? Oh, she's a model. What else starts with the letter M?
Mayhem,
Yeah.
madness.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Melissa, could you think of something better for?
Well, we thought it was going to be something
Snooze
about
Fest?
the snooze fest thing, like she puts people to sleep or something like that. I don't know. I just felt like there was more to do there rather than just being like she's a model.
Yeah, I feel like they don't want to be that mean with the BB comics. I feel like they leave that to the Zingbot, and I feel like that. Like, who got it the worst? Do you think?
Jack.
Jack. Yeah, Jack. Jack gets everything bad. Like,
I think Jack, and then also Mickey. Like I think Mickey got pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, remember, okay, like so you're saying they don't want to be mean for the Big Brother comics. Like, I mean, remember Big Meech?
Yes.
Where it's like they literally dressed her up like a baby and like had her stomping around the city crying. Like, okay. That was pretty mean, especially because she already was talking in the house about like, oh, like I don't feel good about myself or whatever at that point in time. And so then you have her like looking like a little baby or like a big giant baby on the thing. It was like, oh, I felt so bad. I mean, it's a funny comic, don't get me wrong, but like I could imagine if I got a comic like that, like I'd be like, is that the way people see me?
Yeah.
So,
and with that, there should not be LFC BB comics either. That should not exist either. Should not be a thing.
I would love to have a comic as long as it's nice.
As long as it's nice.
Yeah, I don't want any of those mean comics.
Okay. Did you see some of the LFC movie posters that got made this week, Melissa?
Yeah, I really liked Brent's. The Bye Girl Man.
That was awesome. That was really
was really good. And Zaddy Daycare. That was very impressive. Okay. Puya, another one that got phoned in, Liberty Bella.
Yeah. I mean, like, it had a good bell line. So if you were in the studio, we'd get a.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, which was the bigger phone in, Melissa? Liberty Bella or Good Bellas this week?
I feel like Liberty Bella was the bigger phone in because honestly, like it doesn't even have anything to do
Philadelphia.
with her. Yeah, like none of it has to do with her. Like she's not like Miss Red, White, Blue American patriotic person. Like it's not. I don't get it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Jack, the jackass, Puya. Boy, that Jack is gonna get dragged whenever Big Brother gets the chance.
Yeah. A little bit of inside baseball for our HouseGuestOnly.coms on the B&B this past week. I had written one down that had it was they call me the donkey, but it's because I'm a jackass for Jack. So this was spot on. This was perfect. The centaur of attention. I mean, thank you, whoever did this. This was kind of, I feel like the fact that he didn't get hit by the Zingbot, they're like, we got to give the people what they want.
Yeah, we got to do something.
Yeah, this one wasn't phoned in. This one was direct.
I liked when Tommy was like, What do you mean? He's the centaur of attention. I'm the one that's supposed to be the fame whore around here.
Yeah, he wants to be called the bad comic.
Okay. Melissa, any other thoughts on Jackass?
Yeah, I thought that was a good one.
Mhm.
I would give it a thumbs up.
Okay.
An Ovi.
All right. Cliff was the groundhog, Melissa. I know his name is Cliff Hog, but am I missing something here?
I mean, if you're missing it, I'm missing it as well, because I don't know how a groundhog has anything to do with him. If anything, like I thought it was if they were gonna use his name, I honestly thought it was gonna be like a hog, not a groundhog. But I don't get it. This one wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
But like they could have done something to like play off of him.
Yeah. Any insight here? What's going on? Why is Cliff the groundhog?
No, because and like it all just comes down to his last name, and that's what they did. If you wanted to go before the wife styles, if you look at the picture enough, you'll figure out what a groundhog kind of looks like and how Cliff would say that in the DR. But other than that, it just comes down to his name, and it's unfortunate because I really do think Cliff was one of the ones where I wanted to see a really memorable one, and I don't think this was the best of them.
Nah.
Before I started fighting crime, I didn't spend as much time burrowing in the earth before the wife.
That's a pretty good impression.
I can't stop since Matt Hoffman mentioned about. I said, Matt Hoffman, what do you think of Cliff on the latest Summer Sign? He's like, nah, I don't like Cliff. I don't like what he's doing with his hands, and I just can't take my eyes off of everything in the diary room. Is that he's like holding an imaginary box like a mime in his hands. I've got this box in my hands, and I can't put it down while I'm doing my diary room confessionals unless the producers say so.
That is true, actually. It's like you don't really notice it until you notice it, and then you can't stop.
I can't look away that he's just won't put down this cube that he's holding in the
down the
diary
box.
room. Yeah. It's like
hands
Pandora's
up.
box that he's got. So you're going to call it, this power of veto ceremony is adjourned. You're gonna close it eventually. Okay. So we don't know about the groundhog. We had Captain Cookie, Puya for Ovi.
He was the king of the cookies. We
Yeah.
know this. This is true, and I think this works for him. He gets to be a captain.
Yeah.
It's an Ovi for Ovi.
It must have been one, Melissa, that was like super obvious to tell what it was, because I don't think it got any sort of individual attention. Nobody seemed like they had trouble with Captain Cookie.
Yeah, I saw it like out of the corner of my eye, and I was just like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, I liked it. I wish that Ovi was remembered for something more than just making cookies, because I feel like anytime people talk about Ovi on the show or anything like that, it's like, oh yeah, he made cookies. But it's like, he did more than that, guys. Come on. But I mean, I get it. You know, you're doing it. There's only so much that can make the show, and you want to have something that people who only watch the show can relate to. And it's like, oh yeah, he did make cookies at one point in time, but like, yeah, it was okay. I mean, what are you gonna do? I liked it.
What are you gonna do? Puya, we had David was freeze frame.
Yeah, I forgot he was a photographer until this comment. I was like, oh yeah, that's what it could have been for David. But it's
I
okay.
think they should have done more. They could have done more for David. I mean, come on.
Did he have another thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He had a lot of other things, Rob.
Well, what was his thing?
Great. Honestly,
I'm not saying he's not great. I'm saying I don't think he had a thing.
You can't pin David down.
No, he has too many things.
There's so many things about David. No, but for real though, I wanted them to. I think they really showcased his intelligence on the show, and I don't think they really showcased him being a photographer on the show.
But
so I do wish they maybe had like done something where it was like the all-seeing eye, or like omniscient, or like, you know, someone who's very, you know, astute. I don't know. I just feel like they could have done something better.
And not that it matters. He's not on the jury or anything like that. But I think that's something that the house guests don't know, that he was sort of like this all-knowing person and gave like really good diary room confessionals. So I can understand why they can't make that his Big Brother comic.
I know, but still, it's like, come on.
Okay.
Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, all right. And then I saved the worst for last, Puya. The one that I think was the biggest reach of the night on a person that they had so much that they could have worked with. Let's talk about Destiny, a.k.a. Christie.
Is there something with her knee? Am I missing something?
What was that?
I don't know.
I think they just were like, okay, what's manifesting? Okay, it's my destiny. It's someone's destiny. Knee. Let's make it look like her knee can destroy things.
I mean, come on, they could have done manifesting or something like that and had her like the manifester and like so she first of all manifests and also they have the whole like chewing segment. I mean, come on.
I mean, there's so much that you could have done with Christie.
Crying.
Cried, yeah.
Everything. There's so much.
As Tom would say, that she got off easy between the crying, the chewing, the manifesting, the like he never said the knee. Yeah.
That's so bizarre. I don't understand. Like,
I
saw it and I was like, did I like forget that something happened to her knee a while back? Like that I just don't remember. I don't know.
And I mean, as of mid-episode tonight, LeBron James got rejected for getting Taco Tuesday trademark. So they could have done
good.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
No more. LeBron cannot lay claim to that. Next thing you know, he's going to try to lay claim to Yeet, which I don't think he did either. He just thinks he did all these things. Mm-hmm. But anyways, we're getting sidetracked. They could have done a lot more. But Rob, my favorite thing about all this is that you forgot a person completely, and that is a party foul on your behalf because Sis, you forgot about.
Oh, yeah. Was she the chicken?
Yeah.
What was she, foul play?
Yeah, well, that's very fitting that we forgot.
It was poetic. When I noticed, I was like, oh, this is beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah. You know that Big Brother has nothing on you when it's just like whatever costume you wear. Okay, yeah, that's your comic. I mean, that's half the reason why they have to do the costumes during the season is that they say, look, we're going to get to BB Comics. We're going to have nothing for some of these people. We got to go back to whatever costumes they had.
Yeah.
Yeah. She had nothing else.
All right, she had nothing else. Okay. So we got a lot about Nicole and this decision that she's going to make. She's going to take Cliff off the block. Melissa, I really like the conversation that Nicole had with Tommy about, Tommy seemed kind of oblivious to what Nicole was thinking.
Yeah, I always like when they do conversations like that where it's like, they say in the diary room what the intention is, and then they go in there and they like are hinting at it, but they don't want to fully say it. And we know what they want to say and we know what they're indicating, but the other person's just like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just going to, it's like, you get what I'm saying here. It's like, I always like that. I think it's pretty funny, but I'm a little surprised that Tommy was kind of, or at least it was very much portrayed that Tommy really didn't quite understand what was going on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we also got to see where Jackson and Holly were finally starting to realize that there is a possibility that Cliff and Nicole could betray them here.
Yeah. They were trying to figure it out. And Holly, no one said anything when Holly did her eviction votes wrong. We didn't say anything when Holly was learning the game. But you're at the final 5, and you're out here saying you're getting backdoored. That's not happening, Holly. You just played the veto. That bothered me a lot. But anyways, yeah. So the fact that they hadn't realized this, we kind of got a little bit of murmurs of this going on that night, where Holly wasn't even really trying to win this. She wasn't really putting in an effort.
She was so bad. She was so bad.
Horrible. 38 minutes. 38 minutes. You can squeeze in a whole episode of Lost, pretty much. Like you really could. Like that's crazy, especially when the winner got 10 minutes. Not great. She wasn't really trying. They didn't even really notice it. And then once Jackson points it out, it dawns on her. Oh my God, I could go up. And this has been talked about on the various updates going on with Taran in the mornings. But Jackson really had a good sensibility about him, really figuring out why they would do it, why it makes sense. Okay, this could be a concern. Don't panic, but let's figure it out. That was good. Meanwhile, Holly, the more and more she realized it could happen, she just spiraled. She just shut down more and more. And just every bit of sensibility I'd seen in Holly just started depleting quickly.
Yeah. Jackson at first was talking about that it can't happen. He trusts these guys.
Honestly, for the first time in this game, I can confidently say that I trust them.
Yeah, he trusts these guys. And I think, Melissa, when he walked in and saw Nicole and Tommy hugging, I love you, that probably has got to put a watermelon seed in his head about this, right?
Probably not a good sign when the person
Am I
you think
interrupting
is going
something?
home.
Like, no,
Yeah.
we just love each other so much.
I mean, honestly, if it wasn't Tommy, I'd be like way more suspicious. But the fact that it's Tommy and he loves everybody and he hugs
I'm
everybody and he
obsessed
tells
with
them
her.
he's obsessed with them all the time, it's like there would be a reasonable doubt that he is not being reassured and is instead just like, oh, I love you.
Yeah.
Thank you for voting me out. I don't care. But
Okay.
not the case.
I want to start to incorporate some of the questions from tonight as well. And then we'll get into talking about the live feeds. Let me see if we have any that we can talk about before we get into it. Let's see. That Mr. Robot Taran wants to say, Nicole Giesling's Big Brother Comics winning time is an all-time record. Is Nicole a Big Brother legend?
I think if she wins the game, she's a total legend. I think if she doesn't win the game, I think people will maybe remember her as like a character and as like, you know, she could have won this, but I think if she wins the game, she'll solidify herself as a legend.
What do you think, Puya?
I think that will her time be a benchmark moving forward for BB Comics? Yes, I think people are going to remember. It's 10 minutes. It's a nice round number. Beyond that, if she wins, she will go down as one of the most adored people to win universally with the fandom, for sure. If she doesn't win, I think there's one house guest every season that kind of we all fall in love with in a way, and we remember, and we kind of want to represent our season outside the winner. So, for example, with 19, we had Kevin. Kevin's adored by all of us. And then in 20, we had Haley. I think Haley would probably come out as the most universally beloved. And in this season, I think Cliff would be giving a run for Nicole's money, but I think right now Nicole is the front runner to have our hearts. Although the season does have a couple that everyone, like, you know, Kemi's up there, Ovi's up there, but I think Nicole will most embody that moving forward for this.
Yeah.
I think that Nicole has the opportunity to be sort of like the universally beloved winner of the season. I think that legend, I'm not sure if I would necessarily say put her on the Mount Rushmore of Big Brother, but I think that is sort of like the heir to like the female Ian Terry. I think that's probably where you put her, and she's definitely back hosting competitions next season. If she doesn't win, though, I don't think she's there.
No. Agreed. Yeah, no, I don't think that I mean, even if she wins, it's not like I'm saying that she would be, you know, Dr. Will or, you know, Dan or Derek or something, or, you know, Danielle or something like that. Like, it's more just that in the more recent seasons, she'll be remembered as a character.
I think she needs the win.
Necessarily. Yeah, I think she needs the win in order to be remembered as like a great game player. But I think, because I think otherwise it's more that she's remembered as like, we love her, what a great character she was, rather than, wow, what an amazing player or anything like that.
Okay. All right, let's take this question from Sheldon. Jackson's Big Brother comic strategy seems systematic and clever, but he did not win by a long shot. How did Jackson's approach fail to work compared with the other players? But yeah, do you have any thoughts about? They really gave us a lot about Jackson's strategy to go through and work on lining up the comics one by one, and then going in at the end and looking for differences.
Yeah, and I think the flaw in his was he was kind of taking them in clumps. So it was like the first four, the next four, the next four, and doing it like that. Whereas the two faster times we saw, they kind of like went through once or twice, lined everyone up, kind of looked at the differences, and then started tackling them there. And usually when we see the first person, we get a lot more of theirs, and we didn't get the entire strategy of the others, because he was kind of the representative for setting up the comp for us to watch.
I also think, Melissa, that not everybody has a strategy, and so if you sort of like detail what your strategy is, win or lose, I kind of feel like that they're going to show that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like a lot of the times, I mean, for this one, yeah, it's possible to have a strategy, but I think for a lot of the competitions, it's like, okay, what was your strategy? And it's like, well, my strategy is just to like do it and then win. Like, I didn't really have a strategy. But for this one, you know, I really did think that Jackson had a good strategy going in. I liked the idea of lining them up first, getting them in the right order, and then determining what the differences are so that you know what to look for. Where because otherwise, you're just ziplining across looking for differences, but you don't know what the differences are that you're supposed to be looking for. And I feel like it's harder to see, those small little changes unless you know what you're looking for.
Puya, how was Tommy able to go so slow on the zip line? Is it that he weighs so little?
I think partially it's that the other thing is he kept himself solid by doing the seated position, which, my God, looks like even more of a workout than just swinging across. By just kind of like dead bodying it and kind of weighing yourself down and not swinging, he was able to just, go very, very, very slow. And I think that was the move there. I think maybe you could argue that's what the time difference was between him and Nicole, but I do think that's a sound strategy because the longer he has to look at that, he can take back more of the differences or more of the order than the other people who are just doing reps. Because like we saw Cliff was kind of getting his mall walk on, kind of slow walking it because by the end of the reps, it was just over for him. Like he just had to you have to keep going back up that ladder too before you swing across. So with the adrenaline and everything, it's a lot. It's quite a bit of a workout.
That's a hard one. But, I like this
I haven't gotten a workout like this since, well,
you're doing a good job on that one. That's pretty good. That sounds like Cliff.
Late contender to take it all, I tell you.
Yeah, wow. But I like this version of BB Comics more than the one that was like, oh, you punch them and then you do this and that. Like I liked the idea that you like see the comic, you go through the, across the zip line. And also I feel like that gives us more time to know what the comics are, kind of study the details, little taglines, stuff like that. And so it makes it more fun for us as the audience, I think.
Okay. All right. We ready to talk about spoilers or anything else from the episode?
Nothing else for me.
We're good to go.
Okay, all right. Let's talk spoilers and hear about where we're headed with tomorrow night. If you're going to be leaving us now, join us for our big live show from the SVA Theater tomorrow night. It's going to be a really fun night. We'll be streaming it live, barring any unforeseen technical acts of God, but we should be able to bring you that live show on Thursday night, so be on the lookout for that. And the podcast as well on Thursday night. But in the meantime, let's talk about our spoilers.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following message. This is
a spoiler.
Warning.
A spoiler.
Warning means that an actual
spoiler
against this country has been detected and that protective action should be taken.
There's so much junk in here that it's none of it is within like arm's reach.
If only you were Elastinic, you'd be fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Melissa, tell me, what's the latest at this hour with the vote?
It's still, I feel it's still up in the air. I don't feel like it's totally solidified yet. I mean, at this point, it does seem like Holly will be leaving, but it could change at any minute. I don't feel confident saying, oh, Holly will be gone tomorrow night at all. So this is going to be a very exciting eviction.
Okay. Where do we stand in terms of the moves that are being made in terms of Holly trying to stay versus Tommy trying to stay?
So as Taran pointed out this morning, it is CW. It's Campaign Wednesday. This is when everyone decides it's my 8 mile. It's my one shot. I got to do it today. And Holly, after kind of being, pulling a Jess and being snooze fest all week, has decided today's the day. And Tommy simultaneously decided today's the day I tell Cliff and Nicole about my Christie connection. So his move today has been let them know what's going on. And then while that was going on, the other screen was Holly and Jackson being very salty that there's actually a chance this could happen. Holly was saying stuff like, we take the room back tonight because Nicole has been gifted the HOH room for the week by the grace of Sir Jackson Mickey Hyde. He's given this room to her, and I take it back. The fact that she's even considering this is ludicrous. But what it comes down to is that now Holly's trying to work it. Jackson's trying to work it. I'm like, hey, Tommy knows a person. You know this now. Like, this is not a good thing for you. We should do something about this. You have an opportunity. Meanwhile, Tommy is doing the opposite. He's like, we get rid of one of them. I will throw the HOH to you. Let's get Mickey out. Let's get Jackson out. That's my plan. That's what I'm doing. So the reason Melissa's saying it's up in the air is because honestly, it's such a fragile situation right now that even the wrong bit of body language can just shift this over to the other side.
Yeah. Boy, Melissa, if Cliff and Nicole are going to evict Holly. Will they tell her before, or tell Jackson before the eviction?
I think they will, but I think it would be like right before. I feel, and I don't even know if they'll do that. I mean, they might just be like, let's just see what happens, and then after the fact, we're gonna apologize or whatever we have to do. And it's gonna be a very tricky situation. I actually kind of think I don't really know what they're gonna cover on tomorrow's show, because I feel like they covered a lot of the back and forth, like the decision process and like what the decision is today on the episode. Yeah. So it's kind of, I don't know what they're going to cover tomorrow.
Well,
so
we'll get the jury house for sure. Because
right,
we have also, from the double eviction. So we'll have Jess. We haven't even seen Nick get to the jury house. So we have Nick going to the jury house, Jess going to the jury house, and Christie going to the jury house. So we have a big check-in going on with the jury house. Puya, do you think we'll get the HOH competition tomorrow night?
It's definitely possible, given the fact that we covered so much. I could definitely see it happen. If it's a before or after, it could very easily be there, and it could feature the last 10 minutes of the show. So I definitely think that's possible, because honestly, I was very shocked when the veto ended by like 40 tonight, because I thought it's about 20 minutes with let's say 2 commercial breaks. There's a lot of ground, and they covered pretty much everything that you'd think would be covered. They didn't even really hide that it's happening. Like, okay, Cliff's coming off the block, Holly's going up. So I think jury tomorrow, maybe the comp tomorrow. Maybe we'll not get the comp and get an extended interview with the person out. But if it's Holly, good luck, Julie. I don't know how that's going to play live. But my dream, because I do think they're going to break it to them. I do think they're going to say, hey, Jackson, Holly, sorry, like we're going to have to do this. This is happening. But because, juror votes and stuff. But for me, as a person who's going to be watching the stream of you guys watching their live, I really hope that we go into feeds blacking out, not knowing what's going to happen. And that would be the best result if they also don't know what's going to happen. So
yeah, and I know on Sunday nights that they've done, they like to have something to end up adding to that Sunday night show. I wonder if we could get maybe, Melissa, like videos from home for the Final Four. Is that something that you could see built into that Sunday night show?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I feel like and knowing the schedule, like I don't know how they're going to fill the rest of the time. I feel like we don't have that many players left, and we're like heading towards the finale, but we still have like 2 weeks, right? After this week, we have 2 weeks, which is kind of a lot to fill with just 4 people left. So it's going to be interesting, unless they decide to make it a final 2 now instead of a final 3, which, I am hoping that they would do that.
I've been hoping for that for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it'll be interesting to see how they pull this off. Cause I mean, normally we get somebody back from the jury house, which they didn't do this year. So
yeah, no, I think that they got this, because we'll have the eviction tomorrow night, and then maybe the HOH. Like, I think Sunday night is going to be the tricky one, because the nominations are pretty much pretty cut and dry, and then we'll have the veto next Wednesday, and then we'll get down to the final 3 on next Thursday, and then probably a recap of the recap on that Sunday night in between, and then get to the finale on Wednesday. So I just really feel like that Sunday night is the show where I feel like that they kind of don't have a lot to do.
Yeah, true. It'll be interesting to see what filler they put in there.
Okay, so
what funny little segments.
Yeah, is Derek gonna show up, and like, or is there a Big Brother who's having a baby soon that they could like bring them into the house for a baby shower? Puya.
Oh boy.
Is BB Rexa going to make her comeback?
Is BB Rexa going to appear? Yeah.
So many things. So many fun things.
So many different ways that Big Brother can pass the time here coming down the stretch of the end of the season. All right. Anything else, Puya, that we should be on the lookout for heading into Thursday?
Honestly, not. The only thing I will say is in the next 16 hours or so, it comes back to the fact that Holly has just started campaigning really properly, and her and Jackson are just now pushing Cliff and Nicole. Cliff and Nicole have had a discussion of back and forth of which one to go with. Cliff has played devil's advocate a lot, because I think Cliff still might have a little bit of a feeling that maybe if Holly stays, it's better for my game.
Oh, yeah.
So that's still going on there as well. So there's still a lot of stuff going on, even though it looks more closer to Holly leaving than Tommy. That's all that's happening. And honestly, no matter how it shakes out, I can't be happy enough because I honestly think that this segment of the game this season has been incredible.
Yeah,
Top
really
to bottom
fun.
has been fun to talk about
So
it, to
good.
watch it. Been in for all of it.
You know, just to go back to the Tommy versus Holly controversy, Puya, I think that for Cliff, I think it's even more of a no-brainer that you have to get rid of Tommy, because I could see a scenario where Tommy wins the final 3 and takes Nicole to the end. But I think that Cliff's game is over if he doesn't get rid of Holly on, or if he doesn't get rid of Tommy on Thursday night.
Yeah, it's a very big risk for Cliff, because if it did come down to the 4 of them, I do think that they would take Cliff, because Jackson would want to take Cliff over Nicole. So I think that's likely, even if you're thinking, an endurance comp, Nicole's the better pick to avoid. So that makes sense as well.
Mm-hmm.
It ultimately comes down to the fact that Cliff and Nicole, the way they're voting this week is representative of what they're planning, which is, let's get to the end together. They want to make it to the end together. So getting to final 3 together is perfect in their eyes. That's what they want. Knowing full well what we know is kind of like Cliff is looking like dead man walking if he gets the final 3 and doesn't have a shot to really win that HOH. But to them, it's a victory if they both make it to final 3, because at the very, very, very least, it guarantees one of them in the final 2, if not both of them, and they can celebrate that together regardless of how it plays out. So the fact that they really want to do this together, they're really attached to each other, is why they don't care if the final 4 is the end for one of them, because the final 3 together would mean a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I'm just so nervous for them that they worked so hard to get to this point, and they had this great run, and then if Tommy is gonna come in and then snatch the win away from one of them, I feel like that's that. I just think on finale night we could be sitting there, that the confetti is only coming down for one person, and it's Tommy, and he did it, and somehow Cliff's sitting there. He went out the 3rd, and Nicole ended up coming in 2nd. And why didn't you vote Tommy out? You had him. You could have voted him out.
It's so tough. It's so tough. It's like I feel like I don't know how I would make the decision. I feel like I hear what you're saying, and I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I do. And then I hear what you're saying, and I'd be like, now I'm not so sure. Maybe I'll do something else. And then I hear the people on Twitter. Like, I just feel like I wouldn't know how to make this decision. And I don't know. I feel like if I'm Nicole, I would listen to, if I'm Cliff, I'd push to keep Holly and get rid of Tommy. But if I'm Nicole, I would be listening to Tommy and hearing that he's promising her the world. And also, like she said in the diary room today, like she wanted to be the one to tell Tommy that she wanted to keep him. She wants Tommy to know that this is on her if he stays. And I feel like he would feel more indebted to her than he would to Cliff. And so I do think that, like, if I'm Nicole, I'm hearing Tommy promise me everything. I'm hearing Holly promise me nothing. I feel like I would make the decision to keep Tommy.
And Puya, do we remember what the final 4 HOH was last season?
I can't remember. The only reason I said the before after is because I feel like that is when the before after comes into play.
I think that might have been What the Bleep last season. I think that was the one that JC won and knocked out Angela, I think.
I think that was
could be likely.
But if it's something with days also, I feel like that, I know Jackson's such a threat, but if it's something about the days, I don't think he knows the days well, and it just seems like that the threat level for Jackson, I feel like, is diminished for this round.
Definitely. It honestly, the competitions are crucial because they need to win at least one of them. Mm-hmm. They really do. Because if Tommy and Jackson, or if Jackson and Holly win both, one of them's gone. It's over. The dream is over. They got to win at least one to solidify that. So if it is a day's comp, or if it is a before after, they're farewell, but they do have a competitor in Tommy that they're facing. Mm-hmm. However, that's why the pitches are important. Tommy's pitch of, hey, I'll throw the HOH is enticing now, because that's the great equalizer to, if Holly's value is 0 and then Tommy's willing to throw, that makes his value is 0. Therefore, we can move ahead and win. It's naive to take that deal, but at the same time, I feel like they really want to believe that they're going to make the right call by splitting the showmans up, and that kind of butters them up to do that.
Yeah. The only good thing if Tommy ends up pulling through is I'll win the draft, Melissa. But, I mean, I have to say, they should have got rid of him. They should have voted him out at the final 5. But
Gosh, if we're in the finale podcast and you're like, yeah, I told you guys you should have voted out Tommy with a Tommy win and a crown on your head, I'm going to be like, oh my God.
Well, I I don't know if I'll take a victory lap, but
Well, you should.
we'll look back to that. We'll look back that you had him, that he is who we thought he was. Yeah. Okay. All right. There you go. All right. So let me talk about what's coming up here on the podcast. We've got a bunch of stuff. Let's see.
So
Scott
specific.
Scott sent me a couple other new questions. Let me see. Rebecca Stone says, "Tell me about your romance with Nutella, and will you bring some samples for us tomorrow in NYC?"
This is specified towards, I guess,
You.
me.
Yeah.
No, not you, Puya. Someone else.
I relate to Nutella. Nutella is chocolatey and sweet, and so am I. So that is why I like Nutella. I have stopped consuming Nutella because it is not great for health reasons.
Yes.
So I don't buy it anymore. I don't have, the only thing I have Nutella is this, and I have a souvenir little Nutella up there that I got as a gift that I keep. I'm never gonna have that one. But yeah, and I will not be at the show tomorrow.
Okay.
But make sure to spread the love like Nutella tomorrow, everybody.
Yes.
Just have fun.
With us in spirit. All right.
Yeah.
So I posted this morning that I talked to Josh Wigler. We went through our first interviews. Josh went to Fiji and talked to all of these Survivor 39 contestants. And we have the first 5 of Josh's interviews with the Lero tribe. You can go ahead and look for that on robhasawebsite.com. We also got the latest News AF, where Tyson and I talked about some problems, Melissa. They could use a lawyer for the parents of Ryan's toy review. The YouTube kid that has made about $20 million annually is in some trouble from some parental watchdog groups. And then, of course, join Taran tomorrow morning for the latest live feed update. Okay, Puya, where can people follow you?
They can follow me on all major platforms at Puyaism.
Okay. Puya, have you checked out any episodes lately of Trailer Park Boys?
I have not. I ended up watching an episode or two after we did our feature on the RHAP show. Canadian shows are trash.
Mm-hmm.
But since I have put it back down to rest because I feel like I've passed it. I feel like I've moved on from good old PPB. Yes.
Okay. All right. You're like Jackson and Holly. That you're just not in the same. You're like Holly. Like it's too immature for me.
Yeah. It's like, before my maturity.
Before the maturity.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Melissa, where can people follow you?
They can find me at It's Melissa with 3 A's.
Yeah. And Melissa, I have been, I'm hoping that we have all those links fixed on our YouTube videos pointing to the right Twitter account.
Hopefully. I hope so. It's been a while with the wrong links on there. So,
Who
knows how many followers I've missed out on.
I know. There could have been so many more quarters that Caitlin would have had to give you.
Yeah, seriously. Although she's not paying me, she's giving them to charity.
Okay. All right. Well, keep us posted on that. All right. And then we will be live tomorrow night. Be on the lookout. Of course, all this made possible by the patrons of Rob Has a Podcast, where we are connecting fans around the world of reality TV, where we are all talking about these crazy shows with this wild finish to the Big Brother season and Survivor around the corner. Check out everything that's going on in our Facebook patron community and our patron podcast feed at robhasawebsite.com/patron. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. Bye.